Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you guys how I got these really pretty boho knotless braids. Alright, let's jump right into it. So I'm starting on pre-parted hair. I actually parted my hair the day before because if you know, you know. Parting on yourself can be so stressful. It can make you not even want to do the hairstyle anymore. So I made sure that I dedicated a whole day to just parting. So I'm starting in the back section, and for this row I just have 4 braids, so I'm just going to put everything else up. So this is the braiding hair that I'm using. Honestly, you can use whatever braiding hair you prefer, really doesn't matter. And then these are the bundles that I'm using. It's the Organique Breezy wave. And I chose this curl pattern just because of personal preference. This is the look that I was going for. I wanted looser waves rather than tighter curls. But obviously feel free to use whatever curls you want. So I'm starting off by undoing my braid, obviously, and then just applying some shine and jam to the root, to the base of the braid, not the scalp, but just the root to help with grip. And then I start by braiding my own hair, usually between 2 to 4 times before adding in the first piece of braiding hair. So once I feed that in, I braid down a little bit. And make sure to remember that when you add in the first piece of braiding hair, there will be one strand of your hair that does not get the braiding hair. So when you add in the second piece, you want to make sure that that lonely strand gets braiding hair added to it, if that makes sense. So now I've added both strands of braiding hair in, and that's all I'm going to be doing for this style in particular. I found that that was enough for the look that I wanted. And as I continue braiding, I'm going to keep adding shine and jam to my real hair to try to hide it away. Obviously, I'm not a professional, so sometimes my hair sticks out. So now I'm adding in a piece of the bundle. So all I did was cut some hair straight off the bundle, and I'm just feeding it in the same way I fed in the braiding hair. And obviously when you feed it in, you're going to have one side way longer than the other, and you're going to braid it down a little bit just to make sure that it's secure, and then you're going to take out the longer piece so that it can be out. And then you're just gonna keep on braiding, making sure that that long piece stays out, which can be a bit difficult at times because it keeps falling down. So you might want to use some clips or something to help, keep it out of the way. So at this point, I'm just gonna continue braiding. This part is kind of, a personal preference as well. It's up to you to decide when you want to add in, the bundles. For me personally, I didn't have any, strategy or anything. It was just about me thinking, hey, I guess it's a good time to add in a piece of bundles. But I did make sure to add in 2 pieces per braid. And as you can see, adding in that second piece can be hard because it's harder to throw it over your shoulder, at least with this back row that I was doing. So desperate times. And then I just braided it all the way down to the end, and I was done with my first braid. Next, you're going to want to grab some scissors because the ends of the bundle will definitely stick out because they're blunt, and you don't really need to focus too much on tugging them because you're just going to clip them off. Okay, so at this point I had finished the first row. I was definitely loving how they were looking. Please don't mind my parts because here I realized they weren't as perfect as I thought, which just comes with the territory when you're parting on yourself. And it's in the back anyway, so nobody's gonna see. So I'll just be repeating that process all over my head. Here I have a better angle for you guys to see how I'm actually doing the braid. I think at this point I braided my own hair about 4 times before I added the braiding hair. And as you can see, I definitely go a while before adding in that second piece. I find that that keeps the braid from looking too big too fast. So here's a point where I decided to add in a piece of the bundle, and again I'm just feeding that in the same way that I added in the braiding hair. And I apologize because I'm seeing that my fingers looked really crazy right there, and that looked way more complicated than it actually was. But I swear you're just feeding it in, splitting it between 2 strands, and then just braiding it in. Alright, and now we've made it to the very last braid. At this point I was so tired, so ready to be done. Alright y'all, and this is the final look after I dip my ends, and I wanted to point out that you've probably seen this style done before with the ends being curly, but I just decided to keep mine straight, just a personal preference. And now I'm just going in with some mousse to finish everything off, and it really helps to keep the curls, looking good. And yeah, this is the final products. I really loved how they came out. It took me about 6 hours. It would have taken way longer if I hadn't pre-parted. And here is a 1-week update. I just wanted to show you guys that this hair, like the bundles, really last. I was a bit nervous because this is synthetic hair, obviously, and I've heard a lot of people say like it didn't hold up, their braids got tangled after like a few days, but this was not the case for me. I've gone swimming with this hair, I've slept on it obviously, and it really has held up. And I want to say the key to keeping my hair looking good was to wrap it at night obviously, and to just use mousse on it daily. The mousse definitely does a good job with not only keeping the tangles away, but also keeping the curls looking hydrated. Like every time I would put the mousse on my hair, the curls would just look way better. Also, another thing that I want to add about these bundles in particular, it does seem like the waves get a bit looser over time, like the bundles got a bit straighter over time, which I'm not too upset about because the curls are still there, well the waves are still there, and it still looks good. And the fact that I kept my ends straight, the ends really do blend in with the hair. So overall, it definitely still looks good, but that's just something I want to point out. But yeah, as you can see, after 1 week, the hair is still holding up really nicely. I think they still look really, really good, so I'm happy about that. But thank you guys so much for watching, and see you in the next video.